Alright, here we have a Futaba 9Z. We are going to do a quick calibration setup on this thing. First thing we're going to want to check is we want to check our ATV settings. So we'll go to condition here, go to ATV, select our throttle channel. We want to make sure we're 100, 100. Now we just want to stay away from settings like 61 side, 99 on one side, or some real variance between the two. We want to stay as close to 100, 100 as possible. This one we're using channel 8, aux2 as our gain channel for controlling the head speed. So on that one, all Futabas, we always want to keep that the ATV set at 95, 95. And we'll verify that here. We are at 95, 95. We've set this radio up so that our switch C is the channel controlling our aux2 or channel 8. We can verify that here when we watch. You're going from one side, from the rate A to rate B on the settings. One thing to remember on a 9Z is 3 position switches, so you have to be careful when you're doing calibration that you don't just go to one position and back. It's never going to see that. It needs to see the full range, full sweep from one side to the other. So basically when we go to that, we want to just make sure we go from a high to a low. We've made all of our connections as per the instructions. We've got our throttle, servo, auxiliary, and sensor all plugged in. We've verified that those are working. As soon as you turn on the TJPro and RevMax, you will see a fast blip of a yellow and red. I'll demonstrate that real quick. There they are, and they go off. As soon as those go off is when we're going to want to enter the calibration. So as soon as those go off, we're just going to go from this high stick or high position here to a low position. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is we want to make sure. Let's go ahead and we want to make sure your throttle servo trim is all the way down. Beep, beep, beep. There we go. It's all the way down. Okay, and so now we're going to turn it on. These are going to flash for a second. As soon as they go out, we're going to flip down on that. So let's go ahead and do that now. There they go. We're down. Now we've got our fast flashing LED. We're going to go to a high stick position, and as soon as we get up above about 50% or so, we're going to turn to a yellow, and we're going to go to high. The yellow flashing is super servo mode, which is not supported on the RevMaxes, but it is supported on the throttle jockeys. Then we're going to go back down. We're back down to green. And since we don't have a super servo on here, a tail servo or a 9253, 9054, any of the ones that are the high frame rate servos would be a super servo. If it's not, we're going to exit out of calibration at low stick, green LED. We're just going to take our switch and we're just going to go back up to high position, and now we are out of calibration mode. Now we can verify the settings that it did take that just by going up with the throttle. When we get above a 25% output, we should see the green LED come on, which it does. And down, it turns back off. So basically, one thing we can verify, that when that comes on, that means it's enabled. So we want it to always be enabled in 3D mode if you've got a V-curve. So we can verify that. As soon as we go to a stunt, flip this up, we should see that we have it on. And the other thing we want to check is that we disable it with throttle hold in all conditions. So we'll go ahead and flip that switch, disabled all flight switch modes. We have no enabled TJ, exactly how it's supposed to be. Pretty simple setup on that. Now let's go get back out of throttle hold there. Settings on this, you use your AFRs for your different settings. Right now, the way it's set up is, if we haven't changed anything right now, it's enabled in high position, disabled in the middle, enabled at low. So right now we've got a 2-position head speed setting on this one. Not flight mode control. There is multiple settings on the website that go through the setup for flight mode control, but we're just going to do the quick down and dirty here. We can get out of this screen, go over to our AFR screen, go to the channel, which is aux2 once again. And now here we can see we're at 100, 100. That's where we're going to do our settings. 100, 100 is full blast. We don't want to be there. So go ahead and select rate A, which is high stick, high switch position here. You can see that down here on the screen. We're going to bring that down to 40, and we're going to bring this one down to 40. That way when we go out to the field, we can go out there, we can bring it into a hover. Oops, sorry about that. And then we can We're in the middle position, so it's disabled. It's not going to be enabled. As soon as we go either up or down with the switch, it's going to enable it, and you're at a low setting, you're going to hear your RPM obviously is going to drop drastically on your heli, and then we're going to be able, on the screen, selecting either the C or D for the switch position, we're going to use the plus and minus here, and we can crank that up, and we're going to hear our head speed increase. So that's just a down and dirty simple way of setting it up on a 9Z. You can go through and do mixes for flight mode control, but this is just a real simple way of having it via this switch.